How much is that doggy in the window? Woof, woof. The one with the waggly tail. Sammy, are you ready? Hi there, welcome to Artfully Sew, where we get creative with our sewing, quilting, and upcycling projects. Today, we're battling a backhoe. Okay, this is going on right as I'm trying to shoot my video. But regardless, we have things to do, so we're gonna keep going. Today, we're gonna take a quilt and turn it into a coat using an existing coat as a pattern. I found the ugliest quilt that I could find that didn't have an historical value or anything. Do you see this? This is all polyester. Like, I picture these as like those 70s leisure suits. But this was a deal because at the thrift store, this only cost $1.99, but because it was a blue tag, it was 50% off. So I got this for $1, and the backing is equally icky, in my opinion. But the coat that I'm going to use as a pattern is a coat that I showed in a previous video. This is also pretty ugly. It's very simple. I think with a quilt, it's gonna show off the squares nicely. I do want to take this in a bit because this is a really huge size and the sleeves are a little long. So let's take apart this coat and make a pattern. For those of you that are new, my name is Angela. I like to take old things and make them new. Hey, and if you want, you can like this video. That would be great. Okay, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull out Mrs. Wood wire and fit that coat. This is a dress form that I made from chicken wire, an old broom, an old wooden hanger, and a rolly chair base. I'm hoping to do a video of how I made this at another time. So let's take a look at this coat. Like I said, this is too baggy. I'm gonna take my chalk and just mark where I want the new seam to be. I'm thinking about 1 inch on each side, but it's gonna have to be shorter because I have short arms. I have Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. Okay, now that I have marked my new seams, I'm gonna take my scissors and do a little trimming. This blanket coat is really thick, so I wanna make sure I use sharp scissors. I'm gonna cut 1 inch because I wanna remember my seam allowance. Yeah, I'm glad I have sharp scissors because this would be hard to do with dull scissors. Everyone should always have fabric scissors anyway, and don't you dare use them on something besides fabric. And when I'm saying don't you dare, I mean don't let your family use it. I've lost many a pair of scissors that way.
Mom, it's just paper.
Paper ruins the scissors, at least the sharpness, right? You don't want to do that. Okay, here's the back piece. Looks like Simba. So I probably should label this because if you don't label, you forget. I'm gonna label this the back piece. And we'll just put it on Mrs. Wood wire. Another one of my favorite tools are these Clover clips. They work great for holding things together, especially chunky stuff, because the pins, sometimes it's hard to get them through. So this is left front, right? No, that's my right side. Makes an L. Well, it looks like an L to me. There we go. Right front, because this is my right side. Yes, this is my right side. Oh my gosh. Okay, right front. Left front. And now the sleeves. Yeah, you go ahead, sit in that sunbeam. And the other side. I love that sound. Actually reminds me of home ec class back when I was in 7th grade, cutting out my apron. Who would have thunk that I would be doing this now when I was in my home ec class back in a long time, never mind when, just a while ago. So these are my sleeves, 1, 2. This is the best tool you will ever use as an upcycler or as a sewer or quilter in general. This allows you to make mistakes. Remember, we don't worry about making mistakes, because when we make a mistake, then we adapt and change and make it different. So, seam ripper, most important tool you will ever have. Dee 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 dee. While I was eating my snack, I realized that these pieces I'm cutting out are pretty big, which means they're not going to fit on this quilt, because the quilt that I have is more of a crib size. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I think I have an idea. I do have some fabric that a friend of mine gave me. I think there might be some polyester in there, so I'm going to get that out and dig it and see if we can find any fabric that might work for the sleeves. The other thing I was thinking is that I could also take the quilt apart and use the back side as the sleeve. This is what I'm talking about, problem solving. It's a big part of upcycling and experimenting, is that you're always adapting. And we need to remember that this is not frustration, this is actually part of the fun. At least for me it is. So let's see what we can do. Welcome to day 2 of this project, turning a quilt into a coat. So we are at the middle of this project. I took the quilt apart, and on the inside I discovered that there was a blanket inside that was used for batting instead of the traditional cotton batting. I kind of like the way it looks, so I'm going to use it as the sleeve. And as you can see, I also quilted the pieces individually. I did use this old sheet as the backing fabric inside, and I did just a simple crisscross pattern to just stabilize it to the back to the front. So today the goal is to trim these pieces up. I'm going to serge the raw edges so that they're easier to piece together, to add the binding to the edges, sew the edges together. And I also need to figure out if I'm going to put a zipper or I'm going to use buttons. I think we're ready to start the next step. So here's what the inside blanket looked like. It's kind of a pinkish color plaid. So now I'm just going to lay out the patterns and see how well they line up after I've quilted. So since I'm going to serge these edges, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chalk and outline it, and then I can save myself a step because my serger has a knife setting on it and I can cut it. The neighbor dogs must be out. Anyway, what I was saying is I could serge the edges, cut them, and save myself a step. Well, I think it's time to wrap up this project. So in order to show you the last few steps, we're going to do a music montage. So Nora, tell us, do you like your new coat?
I think it's really great. I love it, and it's really cute and warm. I like it.
Who knew that the inside of the quilt could end up being the outside and make it so beautiful?
It was a hidden treasure.
A hidden treasure
Inside the quilt.
It looks great. Well, thank you for watching, and remember, you can artfully sew. Bye! Do spin. Look over the bridge. So, did I not do? Oh.
What? Oh?
I'll go over here. Okay.
Stop your phone. Can I take more pictures?
Oh, did I just? Now I'm recording. Was I not recording before?
I don't think you were recording before.